right, what is up, everybody? Divine Hood here, coming at you with another daily update on Bitcoin and the crypto markets. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Yeshwant, much love to you. Thank you for tuning in from India. Ryan Hansen, good afternoon to you. R Pink, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for modding. Please do hit the like button on your way in, guys. If you do get any sort of insight into the market from this live stream, please hit the like button. Or if you just enjoy the live stream, please do hit that like button, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Dylan, welcome in. Darksby19, what's up, man? You are in a short from 64.4. Well, I don't think this is a bad idea for a short from this area, and I'll explain that in just a second. I actually attempted one earlier today that I did get stopped out. I did lose the 1% on that, but I am still looking to re-enter. I have not re-entered yet. Chi-chan, much love to you. It's good to see you in here. Wayne Rosi, good evening to you, sir. And Tawny Trades, good afternoon. Travie Trades, sorry. Travie Trades, good afternoon. Illuministic, we are doing well. Thank you so much. And No, you are early. Good job, No. It's good to see you in here. So, guys, Bitcoin is coming up to a pretty key decision point. We're coming up to, and TBD Woods also, what's up, man? Great to see you in here. We're coming up to a key decision point. Once again, it's that kind of the top of the descending channel as well as that anchored VWAP. And I know we're getting a lot of chop around the anchored VWAP. So we're squeezing in between two anchored VWAPs here. And just today, we're seeing some bullish developments with breaking some market structure bullishly. So let me go on to the Bybit chart real quick where it's just a little bit less cluttered right now. We are breaking some market structure bullishly by taking out a higher high, breaking that market structure, or a lower high. You know, if you're looking at this as a lower low, lower high, and then on Bybit, it was a lower low by $5. Now on Coinbase, it was less than $1 higher, but you can see on Bybit, we did make a lower low. And I did not address this in yesterday's video, but on Coinbase, we did not make a lower low. We made a higher low by less than $1. If you look at their 62,210 down to 62,209. So it was less than $1, but it is a higher low. And but we are breaking some highs, and we're breaking above the anchored VWAP, which you can see locally. This is the anchored VWAP from the 57.7K low. So if you're maintaining above it, you expect to see new local highs. Maintain above it, see new local highs. Maintain above it, local highs. Maintain above it, local highs, right? New local highs. And once you start to lose it, flip it into resistance, you expect to see new local lows, which some exchanges did, some exchanges didn't, or we saw a double bottom. Let's just call it a double bottom there. But we rejected the past couple of days on Sunday and on Monday. We kind of saw rejections from that area. And now we are breaking above it, flipping it to support locally. New local high once you flip it to support. Back tested again today, new local high. So it is a nice bullish development. The fact that we are breaking above an anchored VWAP and flipping it into support again suggests that we could make a bigger move up, sweeping some of this liquidity that is built inside of this channel here. We're also essentially trying to break out of the channel, because if we go back to the Coinbase chart here, you can see we broke above it. We're back testing it right now, and then it's holding. So as soon as that channel holds, you expect to make new local highs. Now, earlier today, I did take a short on the intraday SFP. We got a move up here this morning, and then I shorted that SFP. But I did tell you guys in the Telegram, if we come down and start to bounce from the channel, then I would probably expect to get stopped out. And I let that happen. You know, I lost that trade knowing full well that I could get stopped out there and that the momentum, the local momentum could continue. It is what it is, right? But I attempted the short because we were at resistance and we are seeing the bear divs on the chart. I want to zoom back out to the 2-hour chart because this 2-hour chart is going to give you, at least on NAMI, you can see how we've been forming in this entire weekend. Higher high, higher high, higher high, higher high, higher high. And look at these drives of bear div that are forming here. Now, we still could form another drive of bear div here into our golden pocket and into our anchored VWAP. And if this bear div confirms and rolls over, I would expect this to dump down pretty aggressively, probably down to the bottom of the channel to hit that $61,000 support level below us. But it is concerning to see all this bear div. Now, Market Cipher is not showing that bear div, but on the 1-hour chart yesterday in the video, I showed you how we were seeing 1, 2, 3, 4 drives of bear div here. 1, 2, 3, 4 higher highs. But now we're invalidating that bearish divergences with a new momentum wave that is pushing above the local momentum waves before it. On NAMI, though, we still are creating. Look at these multiple drives, bear div, bear div, bear div, and we still could create another drive of bear div here on NAMI. We are coming up into that resistance. So what we are seeing right now is a key decision point at this zone. If Bitcoin can get above this anchored VWAP and flip it to support locally, I think we could see a pretty big move to the upside. If we do reject here, I do think we are going to take the double bottom lows, and I do think we're most likely going to drop to the bottom of the channel around $61,000. Because another thing, we're attempting to break out of this channel, this descending channel. Break above it, backtest it. You're also backtesting the POC of the range, which for the past couple of days in the weekend was acting as resistance. Resistance yesterday, kind of resistance overnight. And now locally, we're flipping it into support, meaning you expected new local highs here. So a very, very key decision point. And we're squeezing in between not only our anchored VWAP from the 57K lows, which you can see is locally flipping to support throughout the day today. But if we pull that anchored VWAP from the highs at 67K, where we rejected a couple weeks ago, we're coming up into that 67K resistance zone. If we also look at our local golden pocket, pulled from the last, let's say hour to 4 hour high down to our low, you can see that we are coming up into that golden pocket resistance. Now, at least on Bybit, we're starting to break above it just very slightly right now. And we're also starting to break above the anchored VWAP very slightly, which is a local sign of strength for Bitcoin. On Coinbase, we're breaking above the golden pocket just barely, but we're still not breaking above that anchored VWAP. And with the multiple drives of bear div we're seeing on the 1 hour, 2 hour, 4 hour chart, we could see a roll over here. This is kind of our decision point. Now, we were seeing the bear divs on NAMI on the 4 hour, but with this push up today, we're seeing an invalidation of the 4 hour bull divs. Money flow looks pretty good here. And on Market Cypher, money flow looks pretty decent as well. So it is possible that we see a true breakout and a flip of this resistance. But one thing that I will say here, and I want to just be very cautious about this because this has happened the past couple of times we've tested this anchored VWAP. You can see we break above it, or you wick above it a little bit. You break above it a little bit. And here's where we see those failed auctions. You try to get above it, you maintain above it for a little bit, but then as soon as you lose it, you get that big dump to make new lows. And that also happened last Thursday, last Friday, right? As you were breaking above it, you could see a bunch of 4 hour wicks above the anchored VWAP, but no 4 hour candle closes above the anchored VWAP. And then guess what? You end up making new lows. So for me right now, the 4 hour time frame is really important. If we can start closing 4 hour candles above this anchored VWAP, which is coming in pretty much $64,300 at $64,300. If we can start closing 4 hour candles above the anchored VWAP, it would be a real sign of strength to me. And we would maybe be able to continue to move up to start to sweep some of this liquidity that has been left alone in here. And we could sweep up towards the value area high of our range. We're in a couple big ranges here. So this range is our 2 month long range that goes back to the beginning of June. For the past week or so, or at weekend, we've been underneath the value or the point of control. If we can start to close and even a daily candle back above the point of control, it's a very high likelihood of climbing up to the value area high. And because we would be breaking out of this descending channel here, we could see an explosion to sweep it all very, very rapidly to come up to the top and to make new local highs above 67,000 and potentially hit that 67.3K resistance all the way up to about, I think we have a naked daily at 67,450-ish. Let me just turn that naked daily on. Naked daily point of control, 67,439. And then, of course, it would grab the liquidity of the range highs, which we have not grabbed that liquidity. This 67K high was a lower high. And then depending on what happens there, guys, if we come up and we grab liquidity and then fall back underneath the anchored VWAP, that could be very bad, where we could come down and take out 57K. But we're not quite there yet. We have to still wait to see if we're going to see a true breakout of this descending channel. but it's looking pretty good right now. We did have weekly bull divs on the chart. And yesterday in the video, I showed you how our daily time frame was bottoming out on the momentum wave and confirming that green dot. And on Market Cipher, our money flow looks relatively bullish here. Really nice, curvy, crossing into the green over the weekend and continuing up nice and bullishly into the green. Now on NAMI, it is starting to bottom out. And if we close today with a big bullish candle like this, this will start to roll over and come to the, start curving to the upside, which means breakout is possible, a breakout to new range highs above 67.3K. And potentially a move up into the mid 70s or even high 70s, up around 77, 78K. If we go onto our important 8-hour time frame to look at the money flow, you can also see the money flow on Market Cipher is crossed up into the green, as well as NAMI crossing up into the green and continuing up into the green here. So it is a very, very key decision point, because on the lower time frames, we are seeing multiple drives of bear div coming up into this resistance. But on the higher time frames, we are seeing the possibility of a true breakout here. If we do break out, we do have some internal resistances within this liquidity trail that the channel's created. If we pull our golden pocket from the highs of the channel to our current lows, you can see our golden pocket is going to be coming up right into the value area high of the range. And this 2-month-long range, we've been trading and chopping with inside of it. The last time we fell back inside the range, we back tested that value area high. We got a rejection on the bearish back test. You make new lows. So even if we come up here and we grab liquidity or reject from this value area high, there is the possibility of coming down to make new lows. And once again, it would just be kind of forming this sideways range up in here after our big impulse finished. After this kind of big straight up impulse finished here, we're kind of seeing this very uncharacteristic chop within a sideways range here. We had that uncharacteristic chop. Actually, it was characteristic within a buying exhaustion channel, but it's also not too common to see it, the chop on the way down from that buying exhaustion channel. Usually you see a big drop to the downside. But yeah, it's not looking too bad here, guys. We are breaking out of the channel. We are seeing it flip to support very locally internally. You can also see that is where our VWAP was today too. And we're breaking above the VWAP, flipping it locally into support. That means that the local intraday trend should continue. We are at resistance. And the lower time frame golden pocket is there. And then if we do start to break above and close 4-hourly candles above this anchored VWAP, I'm expecting a move up. And this golden pocket that I just laid out, we have a little bit of liquidity from Thursday, July 30th that's right above it. So it's a bit of a zone, I would say. This is your next kind of resistance zone above us. And if we break above the value area high of the range, I think we're going to sweep the 67K highs. I think we're going to come all the way up and sweep those highs. Let's see. Do we have any naked dailies? Yeah, we do have a naked daily before that, right around $64,900. And we have no naked weeklies. Okay. We have that weekly that's also going to be up in this resistance box around 65,350-ish. So this purple box, this next purple box is definitely a big resistance up here. And we have a couple levels before then where we could see small pullbacks, maybe like scalp short trades. But to me, the big thing to watch is if we break above this anchored VWAP, I think we're going to continue pushing up to 65.3, and that would be our next big test to see if we are going to drop, or if we can start to break out of the value area high of the range, then we could sweep probably 67K. Now, we do have a couple other things we can be looking at. Let's go ahead and turn off our 2-month-long range, and we can just look at the range of the past couple of weeks, which is the buying exhaustion channel that we were seeing. And now this descending channel that we're seeing, it's kind of forming this sideways range in here from around 62K to 67K. If we look at that range, you can see that the point of control is the same as the 2-month-long range. And we're breaking above it. We're flipping it to support locally. And the value area high of this range is as well the same value area high of our 2-month-long range. You can see those value area highs, point of controls are pretty much the same. So very important volume resistance above us. And we're at our bearish trend-based volume resistance right now. If the bearish trend is going to continue, then you would expect to reject from around this anchored VWAP. And yes, you could see some funny business like we saw the last couple of times. Funny business here, and then you get that big dump. But that's essentially what I'm watching for today. I think a big move is coming soon for Bitcoin though, guys, because we are starting to squeeze. We are starting to squeeze between the anchored VWAP from the low and the anchored VWAP from the high of the range of our 2-month long range. And this range is getting quite developed now. So we're probably going to see a breakout soon of this range, especially since we have higher time frame bull divs on the chart. And on the 4-hour on Market Cypher, as we've been forming this descending channel in here, making lower lows and lower highs, we're making higher highs and higher lows on the momentum waves, and our money flow is finally crossed up into the green. Also on NAMI, you can see the bull divs confirmed, money flow crossing up into the green, and it just looks like we could get a breakout here. The one thing that is keeping me a little bit cautious and still looking for shorts, remember, as a trader, you trade against your bias. Even if I think this is going to break out, we're at local resistance and we do have confirmation to short. So even if my bias is that we could break out, I'm still looking for shorts here. Doesn't mean I'm going to take it necessarily. I actually did take one earlier that I lost. I still am looking to re-enter here, but I'm going to be more cautious now because of the signs that I'm seeing on the chart. Money flow looks strong, right? And money flow is going to dictate that we could see a breakout of this area. But the thing that concerns me is the double bottom that we're seeing in here. And Coinbase did not take the lows, Bybit did. And let me just check the Binance chart real quick. See how that Binance chart looks. Yeah, Binance did not take the lows either. You can see Binance did not take the lows. And if we look at the index chart did not take the lows. So it looks like the Bybit chart was the only chart that actually took out those lows. So we have to be very cautious here because when not all exchanges get in on that liquidity grab of the range low, generally you can see these fake outs and then moves back down so every exchange can kind of get in on that. All right, let me check the chat here. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Lockaspin, welcome in. Loki Spin, welcome in. She's gonna pop. Yeah, Travie Trade, she might pop, man. It's looking more and more like she wants to, but let's see. We're at that key resistance zone. I also took the short and got stopped out. Well, no, that's okay, man. You know, as long as you're using proper risk management, you can lose. Like I said, you guys, I will keep showing this to you over and over and over again. You can actually lose 70% of your trades and you can only win 30%. As long as you're taking a 1-to-3 risk to reward ratio, you can still be profitable. So it's okay to lose, you know, a couple trades. No trader is 100%. It's about probabilities and risk management, right? The greater you set your probabilities, the greater you are to be profitable long term. So it's okay to take risks when you see when you're at resistance with the proper confirmations to short. You know, everything could be in your favor and you're going to lose that trade. It's just part of the game. But as long as you're taking it with proper risk management and staying disciplined and only taking trades at resistances and supports, overall long term, you can still be quite successful, and even with a 50% win rate or less. Okay, Eric, what's up, man? Welcome in. Hunt like a wolf. Open interest is rising. Let's see here. Let's look at our open interest. Yeah, at least on the aggregated open interest, it's rising, but it's not rising too drastically here. Throughout the day, it's nothing too aggressive in my opinion, but yeah, we are seeing some new positions open, and from the looks of it, a lot of those positions are long positions that are opening, which, by the way, we have to be careful because this is also your proverbial contracting diagonal that you see in here, that when you're seeing a contracting diagonal form with bear divs in between all of those highs, that often does break down. And that's another thing that I'm worried about here because the pattern is suggesting with the bear divs that we could see a fake out and a breakdown. If you also look at the volume looks like it's getting lower and lower and lower as we're forming this contracting diagonal in here. So a couple warning signs. Once again, we need to get above and start closing candles above the anchored VWAP. I actually just want to check real quick here. Let me go to the 12-minute chart. Man, we are just seeing resistance. Look at that anchored VWAP. Just not even 12-minute candle bodies closing above. Really seeing some resistance here from that anchored VWAP. We do have some local bear divs throughout the day too developing in this move up. Actually, we can throw a channel on this move up. Let's throw a channel on this last bit here. Actually, I want to throw it on the more steep part. Yeah, it's somewhat respected. You can see that midline is somewhat respected in here. I would say, because if we come down to the bottom of the channel, that's already your POC anyways, and really we're going to be watching that POC. If you lose that POC again, it's going to be big trouble because that's also where your VWAP throughout the day is, as well as your bigger daily descending channel. So that's not your daily descending channel, your smaller descending channel that we've been in for the past couple of weeks. We are seeing bear divs as we're coming up in this channel, higher highs in the price action. You can see we're kind of forming those regional lower highs on Market Cipher, or excuse me, on NAMI. Nothing too crazy here. Let's go back to that 12-minute. And this is what I'm a little bit concerned about. Regionally, you're seeing a little bit of bear divs in here. And then you can see you're seeing some bear divs in here between the major highs, right? You got some chop in between and some momentum waves in between. But between those major highs in there, you're seeing the bear divs. Money flow still looks relatively good, though. I'm waiting, guys. I am not taking a short yet until we start to see a bit of this micro range resolve itself. And once again, it's all about risk management, right? So if we break that micro range down and then we start to come up and back test that micro range, that is where we can enter the short on the back test. And then we can put our stop above that high, and then we could start targeting even the lows, the intraday lows here around 63,250-ish. Start to target taking out kind of this contracting diagonal in here that we're seeing, this local contracting diagonal. And that's would be a really good short trade if we get that. So we have time and we have opportunity to get into this trade. Now, if you want to take it now, you know, if you want to take it now, we do have some confirmation to take it now. Just take it with proper risk management, right? You're shorting right now. Your stop, you would probably want to put above that local high. And because we haven't lost the POC yet, you might want to think about taking a TP1, at least at the POC and the VWAP. Now, that's only a 2.2 risk to reward ratio trade. For me, I would look at taking some profit down near the lows of this contracting diagonal here, and that still could be a good trade. Of course, leaving some open to come down and sweep the double bottom, and then even leaving some open to come down to 61K. So depending on how you get that trade, if you want to enter now, of course, I don't give financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but that is a possibility from what we're seeing here. A bit of some mixed signals because the intermediate and higher timeframes are showing that we could see a breakout here, and the lower timeframes are showing some very concerning signs with the multiple drives of bear div. All right, Mr. Rekachun, welcome in, my friend. 64.7. Okay, 64.7. You must be looking at either that daily level or that naked daily point of control. Let me see here. So at 64.9-ish, we have a naked daily point of control. And at 64.7, yeah, you're probably looking at that daily level just above us here. Interesting. So, Mr. Rekachun, in my view of things, if we do break up to this daily, yeah, you might be able to take a little bit of a short, and that's probably also going to be where your 786 Fibonacci is. Let's just pull that real quick here. Yeah, your 786 is going to be right up there as well. So 786 in a daily level. So that is an internal resistance, right? It's not as big as a resistance as this 65,350-ish level in this zone. But what we could expect, if we're going to break above this anchored VWAP, you might see a break up to come up to that daily, reject from that daily to come back down to back test and flip the anchored VWAP into support, and then work your way up into the more macro resistance zone or the larger confluence of resistance, right? So, yeah, you could take a scalp off that depending on how you get in. Let's say you're going to really be trying to snipe this short trade at 64.7. What you could do is you could wait until we come up, hit the daily, and then as soon as we start to lose the 786, you enter short, right? You enter short. Your stop is going to go obviously above where that daily hit, and even just coming down to your anchored VWAP for a TP1, you're still looking at a 6-to-1 risk to reward ratio scalp short trade. And then if you start to break below that anchored VWAP, you hold it open, right? And then you could see the much bigger dump come in here. So I would say that's a valid zone to be looking at least at a scalp short position, 64.7, 64.721-ish, 722. But definitely to me, the more interesting level to be looking at, we have a daily level at 65.350. We have a weekly level at 65.350. We have the liquidity, and remember, liquidity is probably the most important thing to be watching, but also the second most important thing is volume, and that's the value area high of two of our ranges as well. So it's about 65.150 to about 65.350 is our zone of, that's where most of our confluence for a potential short is. Now, because we would be breaking out of this channel here, guys, because we would be breaking out of this channel, we would have to watch for a quick sweep of liquidity continuing aggressively to the upside. I would watch if we SFP this high and then start to lose the value area high, which is also your golden pocket 618. That is when I would look to short. If you're being more conservative, right? You would look to short after the SFP as soon as you lose that, and then obviously I would be targeting at least that double bottom down there. That's a pretty much a 9-to-1 risk to reward ratio, and my TP2 would be at 61K, excuse me. But if you really wanted to try to snipe this 65.350 short, if you're coming up here, you're SFPing as soon as you lose that level, you can short, your stop would go right above that high, and then you could be even targeting. Now, this is also important because we would be flipping, because we would be breaking out of our bearish volume-based trend, right? This is your volume-based trend resistance, that anchored VWAP from the 67K highs. If we break above this high, technically, even if it's an SFP, it is a bullish break in market structure. And because it's a bullish break in market structure, you could be seeing a move back down to that anchored VWAP and once again flipping it to support to continue up. So if I do short anywhere in this purple box zone, I will be very cautious and probably take out 25% on the back test of the anchored VWAP, depending on how we react when we come down to it, right? If we're going to just slice straight through it, maybe like a 1 or 2 5-minute bounce and then slice straight through it, I wouldn't take any profit. But if we start to consolidate, this anchored VWAP in here kind of keeps coming, we come up, we SFP, start to lose it. Is if we come down here and we start to chop in here for a bit, I would consider taking some profit at that anchored VWAP. Probably for me, I'll take 25% profit if I do get into this short here. If we start to chop in here, because it could hold, and then if it holds, you're expecting to make new highs. And that is after flipping that into support, after flipping that anchor VWAP into support, is when you would probably expect to sweep all of this liquidity, even up to your 67K high. Probably coming up to around 67.4-ish, where your naked daily point of control and the sweep of the range highs would be. All right, Jojo, welcome in. Thank you for being here. Patrick Schooner, welcome in. Sarah Germ, hello to you as well. Thank you for being here. Short now, let's go. Yeah, I'm looking at the short right now. We have 1 hour bear divs. We have 2 hour bear divs. But our 4 hour bear divs on both Market Cipher and NAMI have been invalidated. And I want to see a little bit of a resolution of this range in here. Or some bearish CVD. So actually, let's go in on our 5-minute time frame. And let's see if we are seeing bearish CVD in between the high, in between this stuff. So let me bring this up more. Where are you? We are not seeing bearish CVD. So generally what we would want to see, this is our high on the day. rejecting, seeing that wick above the anchored VWAP, you would want to be making lower highs on the price action here, and you would want your CVD to be making higher highs. And then, of course, if your open interest is increasing here, you would be seeing bearish absorption within this little consolidation. We are not seeing that bearish absorption right now. And if anything, we're just developing a little bit of a kind of a triangle in here, right? Little bit of a 5-minute triangle, which, remember, a triangle is a continuation consolidation pattern. And so if you're seeing this triangle in here, you pumped coming into the triangle, you are more likely to pump coming out of the triangle. The question is do we drop real quick to take that little liquidity right in here first and then continue up? Not quicker. Much love to you. Welcome in. Lil Rick 69, welcome in. Christopher Munn, money flow on the lower time frames looks weak though, constantly sloshing in and out. Yes, so within this chop in here, you're going to see that money flow sloshing in and out because of this chop in here. But what you want to look at is when the money flow is unclear on the lower time frames, that's when you want to zoom out to some of the more intermediate and higher time frames, like the hourly money flow. It is overall curving down. Actually, let me see, because I can't really tell. All right, so your money flow right now on Market Cipher is rising back up again. And I don't know if you guys can see that. That's kind of hard to see, but your money flow is rising up again on the hourly time frame after it was kind of draining out here. So that is a right now locally bullish sign that your money flow is rising here. Also, if you look at NAMI, you can see the money flow on the hourly is rising. So even though we're seeing the chop intraday within the money flow, your overall hourly time frame all the way up to the 4 hourly, right? If you go to the 4 hourly, money flow looks bullish, money flow looks bullish here. And then on the daily time frame, money flow looks bullish on Market Cipher, and it's starting to roll over on NAMI. So that is suggesting, because money flow dictates that overall kind of trend that could happen, it does look like we could see a true breakout of this channel. And we've been in this channel now, guys, for a couple weeks. I think it's been a couple weeks we've been in this channel for 14 days, 4 hours right now. The thing I said in yesterday's video is that there's two possibilities here as far as Elliott waves go. We would have to be seeing a 1 2 1 2 1, a triple 1 2, right? 1 2 1 2 1 2, and then you would expect to see that big breakdown. And in that case, your 61K support's probably not going to see a hold. It's probably going to slice straight through it, maybe even down to 57K, and then you would start to get your 4 5s to come in afterwards, right? So that's the way that would work if we're going to see, because there's too much choppy overlap in here to consider this you can't count this as a 1 2 3 4 5. That's the low, and then now we're going to come up because there's overlap between the highs and the lows. So it's a hard invalidation for Elliott waves. So the only way to count this move down of the past couple of weeks as a bearish move down is you would have to be looking at a significantly bearish move building on Bitcoin of 1 2s in here, and then you would get that big third wave to the downside, and then of course after that you would see your 4 5s come in. And I'm running out of room. They're not going to be that small, but that is the bearish scenario. Now, with descending channels and ascending channels, they do have a 2/3 probability of breaking. Like a descending channel has a 2/3 probability of breaking to the upside and at least sweeping the second pivot of the channel, but generally it will sweep the entire liquidity trail that channel has formed. And on an ascending channel, you have a higher probability to break it to the downside and sweep all the way down to at least the second pivot of that channel. So I have to say the past, not just couple of weeks, the past month, right? This channel and this channel is very uncharacteristic of Bitcoin to be so choppy in this general area. We'll generally see a little bit of a chop, like you get your aggressive move up, and then we'll see a couple chops here, and then it will either resolve itself by breaking down aggressively or continuing. But to see the chop towards the end of an aggressive move up is not unusual, but to see the chop down right after an aggressive move is a little bit unusual. Now, I know we're in a bit of an unusual time right now for Bitcoin with what's going on in the war and stuff like that. So we're just going to have to be, for me personally, guys, of course, you play it how you play it, right? You know that we're at a very important local resistance, and you know that we do have some bearish signals on the chart that could suggest a fake out here, that we're faking out of the channel again, and that we're going to roll over. So if you're comfortable and interested in taking the short, that's on you, right? For me, I'm being a little bit more cautious because I already got stopped out of a short position from this zone already once today. And because it's not looking like we're seeing that nice clear rejection that we want to see. Also, locally, we flipped the anchored VWAP from the lows, and we flipped the VWAP today to support and the point of control to support, which is intraday a bullish sign that we could continue pushing up and really could see a breakout here. Boomdog Saint, welcome in, my friend. Yes, please do hit the like button, guys. Please do subscribe to the channel. We will go through some of the altcoins. I'll go through Turbo in just a bit here, Boomdock Saint. We can go through Nears here, Jim, and a couple other, man, on Hype, we got that trade, guys, and I was driving as we came down and hit that 0.65, but you can see I had the alert set on the 0.65, and because we had front run it in here, we were looking for that move down to hit the 0.65, and then if we started to reclaim these lows, you could see a big move up. And I have to say, on Hype here, the move that we're seeing so far, it looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, and we could get the fifth wave that pushes up to SFP this local high at 56, or even comes up to 56.8 to backtest the value area low. And then hopefully we form some sort of bigger range in here before breaking this thing up, or at least, you know, a triangle in here, maybe for a wave 4. Because I'm looking at on Hype overall 2 scenarios, right? From this high here, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or it's going to be kind of that 1, 2, 3, and then you break up and you sweep all of this. You know, not immediately, obviously, but there's a couple more macro scenarios on Hype, but this has been our box of support that we've been laid out. We've had this laid out for a couple weeks now on the chart, coming into that key support with some nice bull divs on the chart, and grabbing liquidity of the lows of the range and getting back above it. So this first move is super important, because if it starts with an impulse, that means that we could see impulse, correction, higher low, impulse, correction, higher low, you know, and a continuation. And the way this is formed in here, this is very sweepable, very squeezable to the upside. Shorted, very key back test. Long, very key support. This could be a nice breakup. The big key that we want to see on Hype is to get back above 56.85, around 56.8 to 56.85 in here, that value area low. If we can close a daily candle, maybe not today, maybe tomorrow, if we can close our daily candle above 56.8, we could really see a big rally here on Near Protocol, not Near Pro, excuse me, Hype. Alex, welcome in, my friend. Diamond Whale, it's good to see you, man. It's been a while. It has been a while, but thank you for joining. Fadwan, ahoy to you. Love it. Ahoy. This BTC price isn't easy to trade, so I'll stick to higher time frame. Yeah, no, I agree with you. Right now, we are getting so much chop in the market, right? And this is the time also where a lot of people get bored, because we had the chop in here that just seems so boring. And now for the last 2 weeks, we've been getting this up and down chop in here. And this is also that we know that a big move is coming soon, because we've been in this range for 2 months now, the sideways range. And a lot of people have stopped paying attention to Bitcoin, because it's just been in this flat range for 2 months. And generally, when you see people starting to get complacent and not pay attention to Bitcoin, that is generally when the big move starts to happen, and it catches a lot of people off guard. So I am looking for that big move soon. Also, if we look at our VWAP bands were contracting together very tightly into support. We hit that kind of double bottom down here, and now they're starting to expand. And if we break above this VWAP band, I mean, we could see these VWAP bands expanded. These are kind of like Bollinger Bands, right? When they squeeze tight together like this, you see a big move. Then you'll kind of consolidate. They squeeze tight together. You can see a big move. So it is coming. I mean, like, we're at, once again, you're at your VWAP resistance too, this upper limit of the band. So we have to just be aware, because we're at the decision point right now. I would say locally, we're at the most local decision point of Bitcoin, even more crucial than 65,350, because depending on what happens here, if we do not break this, you're expecting to roll over and at least take the double bottom out, but you're most likely, if you fall back inside of this pink descending channel, you're most likely to rotate to the bottom of the channel, which is going to be where our 60K golden pocket is. And it would grab this liquidity trail that we talked about, this parabolic liquidity trail. It would finally grab the rest of that liquidity. Let's see. Yeah, we can check SYN. We'll check Arrow. We'll check Solana. We'll check Sui. Yes, guys, absolutely. Thank you, Rpink. Really quickly, before we go into some of the altcoins, I do want to take a second here to shout out some of the partners of the channel. I know this is annoying for you guys. Just bear with me here. The main partner of the channel is BYDFI. They're a VPN and KYC free exchange. All you need is an email and a password to sign up. If you do sign up using my affiliate link in the description, you can get a minimum of 20% discounts on your trading fees, and you can earn up to 40% discounts on those trading fees if you do deposit some larger amounts into the exchange. They're offering up to $8,100 in futures trading bonuses just by trading on the USDT markets. That includes Bitcoin and the altcoins. So all these altcoins you're looking at, any of these altcoin trades can attribute to that extra volume you move. Depending on the amount of volume, you can earn up to $8,100 extra. They're also offering some of the best initial deposit bonuses in the entire industry. So if you deposit $100, they'll give you a 50% deposit bonus, which is over double what most exchanges will give you on a $100 deposit. They're giving you 20% deposit bonuses up to $1,000 deposit and 10% deposit bonuses up to the $20,000 deposit. That is also over double what most exchanges will give you for a 10% deposit bonus. So links in the description below if you guys want to sign up with BYDFI. Also, another perk of signing up with BYDFI is I've partnered with them to create a Telegram community. It's a private community, but it is free. If you do sign up and deposit a minimum amount of $100 or more, you can deposit more if you want to get some of these bigger bonuses in here. But the minimum deposit of $100 will get you into the Telegram. Just click the Telegram link. Rpink posted it in the chat, or it's in the description of this live stream. And when you're in that Telegram verify channel, type in /verify and then your user ID for BYDFI, and that'll get you into the Telegram. And guys, when we're doing these live streams or when I'm making the videos, I'm giving you guys kind of levels of interest for trades for me for Bitcoin and a lot of the altcoins. We set alert on a lot of these altcoins for altcoin trading opportunities. But a lot of those alerts and trades, we don't actually trigger them live because we're only live for a short window of a couple hours. So I will let you guys know in the Telegram. I have these alerts set. I have notifications on my phone. I have notification on my computer. And I try to do my absolute best to let you guys know if I'm going to enter those trades, or I'll give you some trade setups that I'm looking at for Bitcoin throughout the day. I kind of let you know the developments happening on Bitcoin throughout the day. So in my opinion, the Telegram, it's free for you guys to get in. You get discounts on trading fees. You can earn bonuses. And the money you deposit, you're not paying it to me. You're not paying it to BYDFI. It's your money. You're just depositing it on the exchange in hopes that you'll try out the exchange, like the exchange, and stick with it, you know? So I think it's a win-win for everyone. I have 3 other exchange partners, MEXC, Bybit, and Blowfin. Blowfin's another non-KYC exchange. MEXC and Bybit are KYC exchanges, but all of them are offering some discounts on trading fees and some sign-up bonuses. If you want, the links are in the description. And then lastly, I have NAMI Trading, which is this momentum and money flow indicator you see at the bottom of your screen here. And I use it for confirmations to enter and exit trades. So for me, as we're coming up to this key resistance, do I see bear divs on the chart? Multiple drives of bear div on the chart. So it's giving me confirmation that at least a trade is acceptable from this area. Now, you might not win it, right? I got stopped out and lost a trade earlier today off of a local SFP, but it at least gives me confirmation as we're coming up into resistance that it's more likely to play out. And so I use it for confirmations to enter and exit trades. Also, say you were in a long position from down here, you could say, hey, you know, we're starting to see multiple drives of bear div into resistance. Maybe I'm going to take some profit. So in my opinion, it is a great tool to use. I have partnered with NAMI Trading to get you guys 50% off. So if you click the link in the description of this video, or Rpink posted it in the chat, when you're checking out on the website for the lifetime subscription, if you use discount code DIVINE50, you can get 50% off. And if you want to try the monthly subscription, use discount code Divine25 and you can get 25% off. Just, I think, that first month only. So that's that for you guys. It's all available there. It's all a way to support the channel. You can also just hit the like button. Try to help us out. We're really trying to build a community here. I appreciate each and every one of you so much. And so just thank you for everything you guys do. And Arping, thank you so much, man. You're the best. All right. It's reputable to have partners. Never worry about shutting that out. Yep. Okay, cool. Well, thank you, Piet Film Malter. I appreciate that comment, my man. I've learned so much watching your streams. Thanks so much. I can really appreciate it. Well, Loki Spin, thank you for saying that, man. This is part of the reason why I do this. You know, I think when you're trading with a community and when you're trading with other traders that are knowledgeable, not only does it help you become a better trader yourself because you're throwing ideas out amongst each other. Like, hey, wait, look at this. This is an area where I'm interested. You know, I wasn't even watching 64/7 until Mr. Rekachun just mentioned it earlier. And now we see, hey, we have a little bit of confluence up there at 64/7 because we do have a 786 Fibonacci up there along with a daily level. So maybe that is going to be an area of interest. If I can even put the thing on right? So we have a daily level and a 786. So at least for a scalp short, right? Now I know that I'm going to be paying attention. And actually what I'll do, Mr. Rekachun, I'm going to set an alert on that daily, because if we do come up to this 786 in daily, I would look potentially, now you would have to snipe this. Like I said earlier in the stream, you would really have to snipe this. As soon as you hit the daily and then start to lose the 786, you would want to enter that trade. Stop would go above that high. And then for me, I would just be for a TP1, no matter what, I would be targeting the back test of the anchored VWAP, because there's a real possibility now we're flipping it to support. That is still a decent scalp trade, right? Almost a 4-to-1 risk to reward ratio scalp trade. And then if you come down here, you could look to flip long to bring it up to 65.4. So this is more scalp trading. I don't know. And, you know, some of you guys are more into the day trading, swing trading. Some of you guys really like to micro scalp. It's all based on your style of trading, but there is a lot of nice trades on Bitcoin, and Bitcoin very nicely does kind of support, because it has such liquidity, such high liquidity, it does support scalp trading a bit more. Puria Beat, welcome in, my friend. Pamp it. Yeah, it looks like, man, I know I've been saying this the entire stream. We are at the key decision point here. If we do start to really reject and specifically lose the VWAP, which is also where your POC is, which is also kind of falling back inside the channel, I would be expecting a much bigger drop to the downside, pretty much at least to take out your 62.2K double lows, but most likely to come down to 61K. And if we break above it and even flip it locally, I'm expecting at least that move up to 64.7 and then eventually 65.3. 65.350-ish. So did Peoria Beat, you're saying every time it hits that anchored VWAP, you short it. Did you short it today is my question. Yeah, and to answer your question, the ABC correction from 57.7. So first of all, this structure is definitely not easy to count. Let me zoom out to the 4-hour time frame. From the 57.7K lows, we very clearly have an impulse in here. This is impulsive here. Now, are we going to get the correction and then we get that kind of contracting diagonal, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, contracting diagonal for your C wave, A, B, and then you get that contracting diagonal for your C wave. After an ABC finishes, you're expecting to take out that low. But what I have to say is what we're seeing so far here does not look very bearish. There's only one bearish scenario, and unfortunately, it's if the bearish scenario turns out, it's probably going to be an ultra bearish scenario, because we've been building 1-2s in here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And if you finally reject and see that big move down, you're going to see a 3, and that 3 is probably going to bring you to take out your 57.7K lows. Then you might see some 4-5s coming in here, right? 4-5, 4-5, 4-5, and you would get that same sort of exhaustion channel or some sort of contracting diagonal down here, right, to finish it. So the only bearish scenario right now, because of the chop within this descending channel, is a multiple 1-2 impulse to the downside. And that means that if we do reject here and we start to see volume coming in on this dump, we have to be very careful about taking along from this area. And we have to even be very careful about taking along from 61K because it could slice straight through it. Maybe you're going to get some scalps where you slice through it, get a little move, and then, slice through it, get a little move, and then you continue and you kind of build that big wave to the downside. But we're going to have to be very, very careful if we do get another rejection. Okay. Tom Select, thank you so much, man. Your detailed analysis, insights, trading expertise are great. It helps so much that you walk us through. What are you thinking as we go? Thank you. Well, first of all, Tom, thank you so much for the kind comment, man. I appreciate that. And I'm glad that at least in some ways I can give you guys a little bit of insight into my experience of the trading market. What do I think as we're going? Well, we've been live for, an hour now. The entire hour, we've done nothing. We've done nothing. So we're at the key resistance. The thing that I'm concerned about is even look at on NAMI, we are forming bear divs and we are also forming money flow bear divs. Even from kind of this here is like our contracting diagonal that we're seeing in here, right? We're seeing kind of a contracting diagonal in here. You have money flow bear divs on the 15-minute from the beginning of the contracting diagonal. You have 15-minute bear divs building this entire contracting diagonal into this key resistance. So it's a bit concerning for me. That along with the hour long, and I get that Market Cipher is not showing the bear divs. It was showing multiple drives of it that are now getting invalidated here. But NAMI here is showing that we could get a big drop. And if we pull up NAMI full screen, let me actually pull up NAMI full screen here. It's just concerning to me that we are potentially even forming another drive. Look at here, guys. One drive, 2 drive, 3 drive, 4 drive. And if this rolls over before, not only would we have the money flow bear divs in here, because your money flow would roll over too, this would roll over. You're going to have multiple drives of bear div into key resistance. It just doesn't look the best here. As far as a true breakout, as far as NAMI goes. Now, Market Cipher is showing a little bit of a different story. And the higher time frames are suggesting that we could see a breakout. Today's daily candle close is going to be quite important. If we're going to close above or below this anchored VWAP is going to be quite important. And then if we do start to reject, can we hold and close the daily at least above our POC? Because that's also going to be another important, if we can close above the POC, which is going to be the back test of the channel at 63,865-ish. But unfortunately right now, I don't have too much to update on because nothing is happening. How do you confirm if resistance VWAP will hold? Do I wait for a break of structure as well? Amanda Dolly, Emma Dolly, that's a good question. And there is no like 100% confirmation, okay? The best you can do is you can look at your oscillators. You can see if you're seeing any bearish divergences, and you can look at the money flow to see if the money flow looks bearish. But another thing you can do is you can zoom in on low time frames, like go to the 5-minute, and obviously we're forming a 5-minute range in here. So what you could wait for is a resolution of this range, because it's a triangle. It looks like a little bit of a triangle that we're forming now. Or what I would be looking at is you're forming a trend line in here. And if this trend line starts to break down, what I would personally wait for is a breakdown, sweep liquidity, and then if we get a pullback up to back test it, that is when we could short. Or you're going to be looking for, you could pull a volume profile of this 5-minute long range. If you lose the VWAP, or not the VWAP, the value area low, if you lose the value area low, you sweep that liquidity, you come back up to back test that value area low, and you start to reject, that is when you can enter the short. Right? So you would enter the short on the bearish back test of the VWAP, not VWAP, value area low, excuse me. Stop would go above the high, and then you would be targeting. And now we are starting to see a break. So look at, we could play this live. We just got that happen. Okay, just as we were speaking, look at, we just got the liquidity grab live. If we come back up to this VWAP, value area low, and break it, back test and break, reject, you could see the big breakdown here. The bear divs were kicking in. Now look at, we have 5-minute, multiple drives of 5-minute bear div here as well. 5-minute bear div here as well. Okay, so now we're getting that SFP here. Let's now wait and see if we can get a little bit of a move up to back test this area. And another thing you could do is now that we're breaking 5-minute market structure bearishly, right? Because you have your higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, but you broke this low. So on very low time frame, you're breaking market structure bearishly. Because of that, you might make a lower high before finally really seeing a reversal here. Yeah, so let's see what we get here. But where was I at in the chat? Okay, what is the definition of lose a level? Which time frames do you use? Could you wait for 1 candle or 2 candle closes? Yeah, so generally, Christopher, that's a great question as well. I will generally wait for, like, if it's like a real low time frame level, I'll wait for a low time frame candle close below it. So right now, in 3 minutes and 31 seconds, we're obviously closing a candle below this this low here. Now, if we're looking at something like the POC or the anchored VWAP, I would be looking at like a 15-minute candle close or maybe even an hourly candle close. The problem with going too high of a time frame, like say we come down to this level, right? That's where your POC is. Say you're waiting for an hourly candle close below it, you might be $1,000 below it by the time that hourly candle closes. So it's a little bit of subjective based on each trade. But if we start to lose this area, you know, say we come down here and we close a 15-minute candle below it, I'm going to say, okay, it's likely we're starting to lose it now. All right, and it looks like, so we're seeing a little bit of a breakdown, but we're still maintaining structure overall. Guys, let's see if we bounce from the VWAP. But this was our resistance area. Like I said during the beginning of the stream, this is our resistance area where we're seeing some bearish things on the chart. What we can look at right now is our order flow. How does our order flow look here? All right, we're starting to see a decrease in open interest. Look at these last 2 big candles. We have a decrease in open interest. So we're seeing positions close out. And what we're seeing is the longs that just opened up. We saw longs right in here. You can see how your open interest was increasing for the past 20 minutes, and those were long positions. So we saw longs attempting to break this breakout traders of this 5-minute triangle. What happens, guys, with the triangle trades? I tell you this all the time. You broke above, you took liquidity from the highs, and then you see the breakdown. So we have to be careful on triangle traders because breakout trades of triangles, because the market makers know exactly how to play retail. Retail's going to long the breakout. They get trapped right at the top. They grab the liquidity of the shorts that already shorted, and then they have the liquidity now stopped out, and they've trapped longs up here, and now they break it down. And generally, it can happen the other way as well. You can grab the liquidity low, and then you continue to break up here. But triangle breakout trades on triangles are very dangerous, in my opinion. Could you trade the support? Yes. Could you trade a resistance? Yes. But for me, triangle breakout trades, because market makers love to play them so much, they love to just destroy retail on them. It's quite aggressive, in my opinion. Okay, Puri B said, no, I mean big ABC, A to top of B to 60K, C, then to 70K. Okay, I'm not sure. Let me get to a cleaner chart. Daily level. Oh, I think I know what you mean here. A to the top of B, B to 60K. Okay, whoa, okay. Oh, are you talking about a bigger like A, B, C in here, or? Yeah, Peoria B, I'm not sure. So from A to the top of B to 60K. Yeah, you're gonna, I'm not too sure what Peoria, you would have to give me some more insight on that because I'm not too sure which one you're talking about. Snood, welcome in, my friend. Thank you so much for being here. Tap the daily, then reject. Okay, let's see. That daily is at 64.7, and that's Mr. Rekachun's level, so we will pay attention to that. Thank you so much, Mr. Rekachun, for pointing that out. Okay, I have a theory. Since crypto exchanges started listing stock tether pairs, a lot of capital shifted into longing BTC to longing stocks. I agree with this. Now that the market is getting tokenized, a lot of people are shifting to the traditional market because it's a lot easier to trade, right? The traditional market is just going up. It's bullish. So, Snood, I have to agree with you there, and that's a good insight on your part, man. Dio, thank you so much for the super chat, my man. Can we look at Graham and on OKX? Yes. Let me see here. So, Graham USDT on OKX. All right. Well, we're starting to form quite a nice contracting diagonal in here, right? To end this potential. So you could say some sort of A, B, and a contracting diagonal and a C. But also, I don't like the way this move up was, right? A three-wave move up to start it. And then you kind of have a triangle also in here. It looks like we could be part of a larger complex correction. So a W, and then you get some sort of X, and then you would get some sort of Y to come up and form this. And ultimately, it's going to form a larger sideways range from the crash in October. You're forming a range here from the crash in October. So that's what you want to be paying attention to mostly. So we can pull our volume profile after that crash ends over. And we're hitting the point of control finally of that range. We can also pull our golden pocket from the lows of the range. Obviously, I'm not looking at the wick to the highs, and we'll put on our golden pocket 786 zone. We do need to put that on log scale. Okay, we've already lost the golden pocket. We hit the 786 a couple days ago. Let me just throw just the 786 on there. So this is what's important. You can see we hit this 786 here on Friday, July 17th, but the move up looks like a corrective move, right? Push up, come down. That's a three-wave corrective move. So you were expecting to take out that low. So today is the first day that we're actually coming down to take out that low, and we're taking it out into a macro point of control support. It would be nice to take out this liquidity down here, this internal liquidity, because that liquidity, anyone who longed this entire range in here, put their stop below that low, and obviously we got a huge pump afterwards. So a lot of people are going to have their stops right below that low at like 125, 5-ish, 126-ish or so, and that would be right into your value area low. Let's zoom in a bit here. All right, what are we seeing in here? So one thing you got to say is these big wicks in liquidity means it's a lower liquidity asset, but you are seeing some nice bull divs on the chart. Actually, from that low, you have lower lows in the price action. You can see you have a bunch of higher lows in here. Money flow was curving up, but now it's aggressively leaving. The bull divs on NAMI as well. You had multiple drives of bull div now being invalidated with this move down here. I would like to look at some points of control in here. Let's do our naked weekly points of controls. Because if we have a point of control near this value area low, yep, we do, and right near the liquidity. So here we go. We have your value area low, or excuse me, your naked weekly point of control at 125.4, and then you can see we also have liquidity. And remember, the two most important things to pay attention to in markets are volume and liquidity. So we have that key liquidity at 125.7 right into a weekly level, or a naked weekly point of control at the value area low of the range. So I personally like this support level a whole lot more than just your POC, there. Your POC is a strong level, but because it overall in the range is so close to the value area low, you're likely to fill that volume profile, right? You attempted to break out, you fell back in, you found resistance, so you're likely to fall to the value area low. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't see a bounce here first, maybe sweep this local liquidity and then come down. We can look at our 8-hour time frame to see how the money flow looks on the 8-hour. Actually, this is starting to look pretty nice for a long position. You can see here as we're decreasing here in this contracting diagonal, right? We have a contracting diagonal in here. Multiple drives of bull div forming. Money flow is curving to the upside. And then look at NAMI. Look at all this overall curvature here. And you have the money flow bull divs here. So it looks pretty good, actually. And obviously that move just happened a couple hours ago, hitting that POC and sweeping this liquidity. You're not seeing the best of the reaction right now. You're above that low. Let me get rid of this 786 here. You're above that low, but just barely, and you're not seeing too much of a good reaction. You're not breaking market structure yet. So let's now zoom in on the 1 hour. After grabbing the liquidity, you can see first off, you close that hourly candle below, but once you hit the POC, you reclaimed it instantly. And now we're chopping, but what you would want to see in order for a better probability long trade is you would want to see some sort of break in market structure on this move. Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. So if you continue to chop here, it's likely that you could keep dropping. But if you break market structure locally by taking out this high at 140.2, then you have a bullish break in market structure, right? Now you can look for a higher low before you start to break this. And I would even be looking at on the 1 hour, this sideways range right in here, right? You have a sideways range down here. So you could pull the volume profile from that sideways range. Yeah, and you're rejecting from the POC. You can see as we're coming up here, even though we hit the value area low and bounced from the VWAP after seeing the big point of control hit, you're rejecting from your lower time frame range point of control. So it is likely that we could continue down here because market structure is still bearish. What I personally would like to see is that bigger value area low hit down in this zone from 126.4 to 125-ish, right? 125.4. So that would be the zone that I would be watching. And what we'll do here is we'll set an alert on this liquidity grab. And if we get that liquidity grab and get back above the, if we get back above the value area low, that could be a very nice trade because overall, this is looking like it is starting to get exhausted here, right? You have the big initial aggressive drop to the downside. You had a little bit of a three-wave corrective move, but in here, it's starting to look like some sort of contracting diagonal in here. So what I would be personally waiting for is to come down to that value area low and to grab that internal liquidity. Even though that looks insignificant, because there was such a giant pump afterwards, there's a lot of people that put their stops below that low. Now, overall, like, let's say, okay, this is a bit ambiguous because of the big dump in October of last year, but from this low rate in here at whatever, excluding that big dump wick, which was really crazy, this low in here, oops, hold on. Sorry guys, I have to get that put on right. This guy right there. So from that low at 112, like, let's be honest here. This looks like overall some sort of three-wave corrective move, which your C wave here ended obviously in an impulse. But it's not the best looking here. Because this overall looks more corrective, eventually you're likely to take out that low. Now, does that mean that you're going to see come down to the value area low, see a bounce and a sweep all the way up to sweep the entire contracting diagonal? So you could sweep all the way up to 184.4 before seeing a move down to sweep that low. But I mean, it does look like a pretty high probability in time that we're going to take that low at 112. I am personally going to wait for that value area low to be hit, which is also where your internal liquidity and your naked weekly point of control is. Do we have any? I can see you also have a daily level. Actually, that daily level looks like it's been tapped. It's hard to tell if this weekly was tapped. So it looks like it was tapped. So that weekly, and actually, yeah, that weekly was tapped in there. So that's not a fresh weekly. I mean, it's up to you whether you want to take a trade from the well, first of all, I don't know if you're looking to spot buy this, long this, but the trade would have been as soon as you started to bounce from this POC, you could have entered a long. For now, I would wait till you see a bullish break in market structure. So in other words, you're seeing bearish market structure here. You want to wait for this, at least some sort of break, the 140.2. If you break 140.2, then you can start looking for a higher low for a long. Until then, my bias would be that we're probably going to grind down to 125. Okay, let's go through some of the other altcoins here. What was the first one we were going to look at? Guys, repost. If you posted an altcoin earlier for me to look at, can you just repost it at the bottom of the chat again? I know that we were going to look at Solana, so we'll look at Solana real quick here. And Solana, I mean, we came down, we hit that weekly level. We are seeing a nice little bounce from the weekly level, but still overall, for me, I am looking to come down to the golden pocket in the naked weekly point of control at 68.9. And we're still not seeing a true bullish break in market structure, right? Because you had your lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. This was a little bit of chop, but a lower high, a lower low, lower high. So could we form a lower low here and roll over to come down to that golden pocket? We're at the POC, once again, at the POC of your larger range. We had a sideways range that was developing in here, and we broke it down. So we can also look at the back test of that range. I would just pull after this initial drop to right about here. Yeah, the back test of the value area low of this internal range is going to be right at like 75.6, which is also the back test of your pitchfork. So if you break above this POC, I would at least expect to move up to sweep this high into your value area low. So you would sweep the high at 75.2 into your 75.6 value area low. Now, we did see some nice bull divs on the chart. You can see here, bull divs on the chart, money flows crossing up into the green. And even on, let's see, so NAMI is not showing bull divs on the 4 hour. Let me go to the 8 hour. Okay, 8 hour, you had bull divs, but they were invalidated with that last move down. And you do not have bull divs on NAMI either. Now, you are starting to cross into the green on both of them, but I would be very, very cautious, guys, of a rejection from this POC. You can see we are having a very hard time breaking above this POC. Daily money flow is crossing into the green today, and it will, if we close today's candle green, it will cross into the green. The big thing with Solana, overall, I am very concerned about Solana because of this looking like a three-wave corrective move. Okay, you rejected from your previous range, value area low point of control zone. So because of that, you do have a chance. Yeah, you're probably going to see a bounce here, a lower high, and then you're going to come down and sweep those lows into the naked monthly at 58. I am still looking for a long at that naked weekly point of control at 68.9. You can see I have the alert set. It's also where your golden pocket is. If you pull the golden pocket from the lows to the highs, you can see that golden pocket is coming in. Let me just make sure. Yeah, not based off log scale, because you do not want to put that based off log scale because this is not a 100% move to the upside. But you had a previous range in here for 4 months. You broke it down aggressively. You had a three-wave move to back test that zone between the value area low and point of control, and you're rejecting. And that's also where your anchored VWAP is, guys. Look at the anchored VWAP in here. So it's a bad sign that you rejected there. Now, what you can look at is this corrective move. Pull the volume profile for that, or you could even extend this volume profile now all the way over, because you can kind of see this is one kind of big range in here that's developing, starting to flatten out and find a floor. But if you look, we're below the value area low. So as long as you remain below the value area low, you could continue sweeping down the range lows. I would like to see some more bull divs as you're coming down within this chop in here. You want to see bull divs within this chop. So we'll have to now zoom in on the lower time frames. Let's go to the 2-hour chart. And within this chop in here, you want to see some bull divs. We were seeing bull divs, but they got invalidated. Okay, with that big move down hitting the weekly. Nami, yeah, I guess you had slight bull divs coming into that weekly level. And quite honestly, I would just be looking at very, very locally this itty bitty local range that you're seeing here. Okay, because we could be looking at as well kind of like that tap 1, tap 2, you reject, you either get a model 1 where you see a tap 3, a lower low, or a model 2. So you could also pull a golden pocket from the lows to your highs. Put on that local golden pocket and look at where that local golden pocket's going to be. Actually, if you look at this golden pocket, that's why we bounced where we did right there. So in some ways, this golden pocket's been used, but because you just made a new local high, you have a new local golden pocket. You do have some internal liquidity at 71.85 where you could see a nice little scalp long. But the big thing is you are potentially right now sweeping liquidity of a double top, and you could be about to roll over here. No bear divs on the 2-hour. No bear divs on the 1-hour. Okay. "15-minute Nami is showing the bear divs within this channel. And money flow bear divs. So because we're not seeing 1 hour and higher bear divs, but we're seeing low time frame, what you're going to want to watch for is this channel. If this channel breaks down, you could see a much, much bigger move to the downside. Okay, there's your little local channel. If this channel breaks down, you're going to see a much bigger move to the downside. Now, you did grab liquidity. It was an SFP, like a 4-hour, 1-hour SFP. For me, the VWAP is also going to be, it's pretty much near the bottom of the channel, right? So if you lose this, you're looking for a flush, and you're probably going to flush all of this in here down to that golden pocket. Yeah, I mean, and once again, just pay attention to this sideways range that's here. You're also rejecting from the value area high. So look at, if you come down to the POC, you're going to sweep all the liquidity from this channel into these double bottom lows in here. Actually, I mean, like, it's not a bad looking short. Stop would go above the high, and then you'd be targeting that POC, the liquidity. You're a little late. So maybe if you see a bounce from VWAP and then come up and reject this, then you could look for the short, right? Short from the value area high, stop above the highs, target the POC and the liquidity. But overall, on larger timeframes for Solana, I don't like the way that it's bouncing off that weekly. And still, you're overall not changing market structure. Like lower timeframes, yeah, you got a decent move up here. But this also just kind of looks like that contracting diagonal forming. And that first big move here, 3-wave move, now you're forming the contracting diagonal. I'm just very cautious of seeing a breakdown. And remember, you're at your larger range POC, 4-hour time frame. If you pull it from this entire low, all of this corrective move, that's the most important POC. So you'll go from the low of the big crash over, you're at the POC. Okay, we lost it. We bounced on Saturday, which that's another thing to pay attention to. That Saturday low is a weakened low. We know that weakened lows and weakened highs often get taken out. Your market structure overall is bearish, making lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. So you have to give precedent to the bears right now. Unless you can close the daily candle above the POC, then you could see a bigger move up to 76.6 or 75.6 or even higher. Okay, I remember Arrow was one of them. I'm going to try to go through these quicker, guys. Arrow's finally coming down to our golden pocket. Now, this is exciting for Arrow. We've been in this choppy channel this entire move down. We have finally hit that golden pocket. By the way, I told you guys last week I was waiting for this golden pocket to be hit because remember we were in here and we were seeing this move up, which that move up looked like a corrective move up. Okay, so we reject from the top of the channel, rejection, 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 4 rejections, have this weird move down to the midline, another rejection, and that was the back test of the value area low because you can see your range in here. Lost the value area low, bearish back test of the channel, the value area low. We finally come down to the golden pocket. The golden pocket is giving us a nice bounce, and we're attempting to break out of the channel. Look at, in this entire channel here, you have not seen any 4-hour candle closes really above the channel until the last 12 hours or so. So in some ways, that's a bullish sign. But what we need to be careful for is we have a larger range that we're part of. This whole sideways range from, and let me just go to a higher time frame so this is easier for you guys to see. Clearly, this is an aggressive move down. Clearly an aggressive move down here. After it finishes, you start to form a bit of a range in here. Okay, it's a sideways and up range, but it's a bit of a range. It looks corrective compared to this impulsive price action. So the volume profile of that range is what's the most important. If you look here, we're back inside the value area high. We attempted to break out. Let me get rid of this now. That's not important anymore. We attempted to break out of the value area high. We flipped it to support. We made new highs. Now, I was super surprised we didn't take out the double top at 63, but we didn't. And now we're starting to move down. And overall, because this move here even looks like a 3-wave corrective move, you're looking at a larger sideways range developing now because of that. You wanted to see an impulse from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like an impulse. But this golden pocket is a nice little golden pocket to expect some sort of bounce, and we're starting to break out of this channel. The big thing we have to pay attention to now is 2 things, the volume levels, right? So the value area low of this upper range, and then more importantly is the value area high of our large range. So first we'll hide this and we'll look at the value area high, which is going to be right at 4647, okay? And you also have some liquidity from a few days ago right into that value area high. This little move up that was Saturday, Sunday, Monday. This was weekend price action. Now, that was a Monday high, but this move up was a weekend bull trap. And if you remember, Bitcoin had something similar a couple weekends ago as well. But a nice little reaction from the golden pocket. You can see we have bull divs on the chart, lower lows in the price action, higher lows here. Money flow is starting to cross into the green. So if you didn't catch along from the golden pocket, I would wait for a bullish break in market structure. Actually, we've had the bullish break in market structure, right? By breaking this lower high, you've now officially broken market structure bullishly on the 2-hour time frame. Because on the 2-hour, if you're looking locally, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Okay? Now you're breaking it, so you're having a higher high. Now you can look for a higher low before continuing up. And I would look to sweep all of this, right up into that value area high, 46.46 or 46.47, and you have liquidity and liquidity right into that. And what I probably would be watching for, because look at, you do have some nice bull divs here, right? 2-hour bull divs, money flows curving to the upside, multiple drives of bull div, money flow crossing into the green. 8-hour bull divs, 8-hour bull divs into your golden pocket. Money flows starting to curve to the upside. Even locally, 8-hour bull divs, and then you have, well, it's more of a double bottom regionally here, but yeah, money flow crossing into the green. So arrow does look like it could get a bit of a move up. At least, you know, you might at least get a move up to 46.46-ish to sweep that high. So I'll set an alert on this high. We might be able to take a short if we start to push up there and reduce SFP. So if you do something like a 3-wave corrective move where you SFP that, reject from the value area high, and then start to fall, we could short that. Now, coming down to your value area low, you have some very key liquidity into a naked daily point of control at your value area low. I don't think we're going to come there anytime soon because obviously this took a couple weeks to chop down. So it might even, we might see a bounce here and then another couple weeks to chop down to that. Grab that liquidity. But because you're back inside this volume profile and you found reacceptance, and even in some ways you backtested it, right? You fell back inside of it, backtest here, new local lows, backtest here, new local lows. So now that you're hitting golden pocket, you might see a bigger move, but it might just be another backtest before dropping. I said I was going to go quick on these. I'm sorry, guys. Thank you, Lil Rich. I appreciate the comment, my man. Oh, Turbo. Yes, Turbo, John. We will check out Turbo. So again, on Turbo, we're really just paying attention to this local range in here. Seeing this chop around this local range. It is nice that you're back inside the volume profile. You can see you broke back inside of it. You actually had a little bit of a triangle in here for that. The big thing is with a triangle, it cannot be part of a B wave, right? So if you're seeing an A, B, C, you can't really have a triangle in a B wave. So in some ways, that's a little bit of a, gives you a little bit of bias that this could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a little bit of an impulse here. But I would just be pulling that, once again, that volume profile of that range. And then now that you've taken out the lows of the range, you sweep those lows, you get back inside your volume profile. After sweeping the lows, getting back inside the volume profile is important. So now that we're back in, we could expect a move maybe towards the value area high. So I would pull my volume profile from the highs of the range to the lows of the range. Let me see if that is a 30% drop or not. 23. Okay, so nope. No, we don't need a log scale. And then we want to look at our important naked daily points of control and naked weekly points of control within here. No naked weeklies except below us, obviously. Naked daily. And let me zoom in on the 1 hour. It gives you a little bit better. Interesting. So you know, I sometimes TradingView has these kind of glitches like that. Oops. I just want to check a couple time frames, because if that naked daily showing up on a couple time frames, yeah, it's all over the place here, guys, from this day in here, because it was such an aggressive wick to the upside and a wick to the downside. What I would say here is you have liquidity above the golden pocket. So this golden pocket, it's important, but it's not super important because there's liquidity from that wick above. And it's because this is such a low volume asset. But if we go to the 4-hour time frame, you can see that that liquidity or that naked daily is up near the 786 in the value area high. So I'd say the main zone to be watching for possible resistance would be in there, 000918, 000906. And I would say you could watch the golden pocket, but with this liquidity right above the golden pocket, I say that this is a better level up here, better resistance area. And then, of course, you're paying attention to your previous range. You broke down from this range aggressively, so now we can watch for the bearish back test of that range. So you want to pull your volume profile of kind of this prior range, and the value area low of that prior range is going to be around 0010. And I think that's a fresh weekly. Let me double check on that. No, that is not. Okay. But we do have a fresh weekly right at that value area high. Okay, you have that fresh weekly right in there as well. Nice multiple drives of weekly bull div, though. Look at this. 1, 2, 3 drives of bull div on the weekly. Okay, that daily's been tapped already, so we don't have anything. And you haven't, no, that daily's been tapped. So, yeah, your purple box is definitely your zone to be paying attention to for resistance. Now, if we're going to get an ABC here, you would have to, I mean, actually, it wouldn't be an ABC. It would be, see how this starts with a 3-wave move? 4. Your 1-to-1 is right at that golden pocket. The way you would have to count this is a 1, 2, 3, and this is a running flat and a 4, and then this would be a 5. Or you could say 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're in your 5th wave of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you'd be looking at, actually, no, you would have to look at that. That's a little bit of a weird way to count an impulse in here. This pullback in here wasn't good to see a triangle here. For an ABC, I'm sorry, for an ABC, right? But John, it does look like you could see a bit of a move up. Look at nice bull divs. You had bull divs on multiple time frames. Daily time frame had the bull divs. Or was that the weekly? I was just, yeah, sorry, it was the weekly. I don't know why Nami's showing bull divs because that's lower. Or maybe not. No, sorry, you do have bull divs on the daily as well. And if you close the daily candle above this POC, you're likely to move up to value area high. So simple as that. Okay, BTC, let me see here. What is BTC doing? Okay, so we saw the breakdown of this little range, but we are still maintaining structure in here, guys, of higher highs and higher lows. So now what we want to do is we want to look at our golden pocket value area high. So we're coming up into golden pocket right now. That is also going to be the breakdown of this little range, right? Your value area low. Actually, POC looks better. Your POC at your 786 looks a little bit better. So if you're going to short this, that's the short. But I'm not seeing, now we want to see, okay, whoa, now no rejection means no short. So look at, we're pumping right now. You're still maintaining bullish market structure overall in here. So unless we start to lose this 786 now, you don't short. If you start to lose the 786, you could look for a short. Short, stop would go above that local high, give it a little bit of breathing room. And you can still target the back test. Even that little scalp short to come down to like VWAP area and to back test the POC is a 3.8, but it could turn into something much bigger. But we're not, I want to see at least a 5-minute candle close below the 786. And it doesn't look like we're going to get it. It looks like we're squeezing here, guys. Let's look at our order flow. What is happening here? Oh, it's a squeeze. Yeah, see how we're pushing up on our CVD right now? And it's on a decrease in open interest, at least for the past 15 minutes. It's been a short squeeze, but now, just now, the last 5-minute candle, look at our open interest is increasing and it's long position. So we're seeing long positions step in. This could be a bad thing if long positions get trapped up here, but if a short squeeze starts and then long step in, this could get really aggressive to the upside. Yeah, so no short at that 786, guys. We didn't get the 5-minute candle close below. As of right now, I still don't see enough to take the short. We're still in this really, really choppy channel, right? You could look at this 5-minute range. Yeah, you're back testing your value area high and you're breaking out. So this is actually good. I would expect new local highs to be made, guys, because we're maintaining bullish market structure on the 5-minute time frame, maintaining all of this bullish market structure within the channel, and we're back testing the value area high and holding it for the most part. You saw a little bit of a wick pass, but I would expect to keep going. Okay, Sudeep, much love to you. Welcome in. Yeah, guys, if you do want to join the Telegram group, remember, all you have to do is join BYDFI using my affiliate link in the description, deposit a minimum deposit of $100 or more, and then click the Telegram link and type in /verify in your user ID for BYDFI, and it'll get you into the Telegram. And I try to keep you guys updated throughout the day in the Telegram on Bitcoin and on all the altcoins we set these alerts on. I try to let you guys know if I'm taking trade once those alerts go off. Let's watch for this double top here because we have pretty much a double top. And we still could get an SFP here. How does our order flow look? Yeah, new long positions are stepping in right now, guys. Where are you at? So it's either going to be a really bad trap where we're going to get an SFP because longs are stepping in right at the highs, or we're going to see a real breakout here. And the fact that we're bouncing from VWAP again, bounce from VWAP, new highs, bounce from VWAP. Let's see if we get the new highs. It's actually looking like, yeah, okay. Let's watch this. This is very important. Let me see if we do this. Stop goes above that high. And I would even just be targeting the VWAP again. Or the POC more like that. 25 seconds. If we get this SFP and close in 20 seconds, of course you would have to adjust this to wherever it's going to be. All right. I think I am going to attempt a scalp short here, guys. And my first target is just going to be targeting that little low into the VWAP. Okay. So, and by the way, guys, if you do not know how to calculate your position size, stop trading, because you calculating your position size is the most important thing in the market, right? Hold on. I just want to see if we're going to bounce here. If we're going to bounce here, this is going to be dangerous. We want to lose this. Oof. Man, that push up though, right there, that's a lot. It's a big, nice increase in open interest there. To calculate your position size, you should, whatever your portfolio is, right? Like I'm going to be risking 1% on this trade. So let's just say, let's say you have a $5,000 portfolio. Usually I go with the example of a 1,000, but let's say you have a $5,000 portfolio and you're risking 1% per trade. So 1% of $5,000 is $50. That's what you're risking per trade. That means if you get stopped out on this trade, you'll lose $50. That's not your position size. That's what you're risking. Now you want to divide that by this stop loss, but because it's in a percent, you move the decimal over 2 places. So it would be 0.0084. So 50 divided by 0.00084. You could throw $59,500 on this trade, 59,523. And if you get stopped out, you're only going to lose $50 because our stop loss is so tight here, guys. That's why. So that is the position size. Now you're going to say, wait a second, Divine Hood, you just told me I only have a $5,000 account. I don't have $60,000. Well, that's when you just increase the leverage, right? So a 10x leverage would give you $50,000. 5,000 would be your own money. 45,000 would be the exchanges. So you'd have to do like a 12x. If you 12x leverage, you could put $60,000 on the trade. And then if you get stopped out, you're only going to lose 1% still. I hope that makes sense for you guys. Yeah, it does. Travi, I think this is looking like it's going to pop too, but yeah, you're right. You kind of have that sort of distribution in here. This move up is pretty aggressive. And overall, we're maintaining bullish market structure. So yes, I understand we could see that 3-tap short. That's why I'm attempting it. But we have to be careful because this move was so aggressive. And overall, we're maintaining bullish market structure within this channel. The fact that we're spending so much time at this anchored VWAP here is concerning to me that we're going to continue higher. If we close another 5-minute candle above that anchored VWAP, it's likely that we're going to continue higher. We got 50 seconds left. The dangerous thing that we saw is specifically in this last candle, this last 5-minute candle here is where we saw a bunch of new long positions stepping in. So either what's going to happen right now, those longs are going to get trapped because we just SFP'd and those longs are trapped, and that's going to be a nice little long squeeze to the downside. Or if they're able to maintain and defend their position, which right now they are, then we're going to continue pushing up. The bulls on the very low time frame will remain in control throughout the day. Yeah, I don't like the way this is looking, guys. We just closed the 5-minute candle right at that anchored VWAP. I'm not going to take any. I'm attempting a short here because I think it could be a really big short. Like I explained with you guys earlier in the stream, I really do think that this rejection here could bring us all the way down to 61K. So that is why I am attempting a couple times to short in here. If I lose a second trade, I'll lose 2% on the day. It's okay. You know, I'll make money somewhere else, you know, or in a different trade. As long as you're using good risk management, that shouldn't be a problem to, you know, to lose a couple trades in a day. Yeah, 64.7 is definitely a level I'm watching. Peoria Beat. Mr. Rekachun pointed that out. That's a daily level and our 786 Fibonacci. I have an alert set on it. You took it with 0.5% risk. Travi, that's good, man. That's good. Now, here's the thing with this scalp short that I just took, or short that could turn into a much bigger short. I will take some profit at the POC just to lock in because we could come down, bounce, and then continue. So because of that, I'll lock in a little bit because my stop loss was so tight. That's already a what is that? It's an 8.5 to 1 risk to reward ratio just to come down to the POC. So I would lock in probably 50% of my short trade there, move my stop to break even, and then say we do lose it, I will look to if we come back up and reject there, I'll compound the short position to continue down. Okay, I'm liking this is decent here. Okay, I know there was a couple other altcoins that we were going to look at. We did Arrow. Oh, SYN. Guys, you have to let me know if Bitcoin starts popping, okay? And I don't know if I've looked at SYN yet in quite a while, so. Wow. Well, look at this. Clearly looks impulsive, and we broke market structure bullishly by taking out that higher low, or that high there. So now what can we say? Let's look for our golden pocket for a potential bounce. Obviously, that's going to be on log scale. You're coming down to your macro golden pocket on the daily time frame. This is so squeezable. Look at this. This is so squeezable here, guys. This actually looks like it could be a very, very nice kind of trade in here if we get no. Let's see here. Yeah, there we go. So that's kind of your channel down. If you break above this channel high, I mean, you could squeeze this so quick. But look at the bull divs as we were coming into this golden pocket. Lower lows in the price action, higher lows on the momentum waves. Money flow looks like it's starting to curve up here. Bull divs on NAMI, money flow crossing into the green. The big thing on SYN is you need to break your market structure bullishly. So you want to break really above 11,378. Now, locally, we've already broken it. You know, this was a lower high to be technical. So you have broken above that. So you have your first at least sign of strength. And you would be looking at something like a 1, 2, 3, 4. And you would want to break above that high for a 5. And that could be part of a much larger move up, right? But let's see how our daily looks. Money flow on both NAMI and Market Cipher B are starting to curve to the upside. You're at your golden pocket. Man, this thing is kind of shitty, huh? Let's pull this little range in here. Yeah, and it's the back test of your value area high, guys. So this is actually a really important support level for SYN. I mean, you could come in and make one more very local low to actually hit that value area high. Because you can see we haven't quite hit it yet. But you're at your log golden pocket. Yeah, and we really just need to break that, and then this could sweep so quick. You want to break out of this channel. So let's go to the 1 hour. You want to break above kind of this like 10.65 down to about 10.55, somewhere in here. And the big level to break is 11.378. But you have bull divs on the daily, or not the daily. You had bull divs on the 4 hour, 1 hour, 2 hour. Look at this curving up nicely here. Curving up nicely here. So yeah, it looks pretty good for at least a decent move to the upside. Now, if this is really going to play out bullishly, let's talk about the real bullish scenario here, because you are chopping in this downtrend, You broke market structure bullishly by breaking above this high. Now, after seeing clearly an impulse to the upside, this was clearly an impulse to the upside. You want to look between the golden pocket and the 786 for a higher low. Higher low, and then you would look for a higher high, right? And even if this is just going to be a larger corrective move before coming lower, this could be a corrective move before coming lower. You are looking, I mean, like, it's still, if you're longing anywhere near this golden pocket, this could be a super nice trade. And you do have confirmations to enter long. So let's just talk about a more of a swing long position on this thing, right? I personally would want to see a break in market structure and then a pullback. And on that pullback, it is swing long opportune time. What the heck is going on here? Right? So you'd go to the pullback, you'd put your stop below the local low, and then I would be targeting at least those highs. That could be a super freaking nice trade, guys. I'm going to set an alert on that high. If we get that MS break and then see a pullback, that's when I'll be looking for longs. But like, this looks impulsive. Let's look at our volume, actually. How does the volume look? Yeah, look at, as you're impulsing up, volume is increasing. From the highs, for the most part, volume is decreasing. So this looks impulsive, this looks corrective. Okay, okay. Palantir potential short. Okay, what do you think and feel about CryptoFace saying that in the bottom is in? Well, I actually said the bottom could be in a month ago. And guys, I literally talked about how, first off, I know that Jason came out today too and said the bottom could be in, but I was telling you guys when we hit this 57.9K to 57.7K support level, I was telling you very aggressively that the bottom could be in as far as price goes, but not as far as time goes. And I've been telling you guys on my channel about a tap 1 here, a tap 2 here, a tap 3 at 61K to see a breakout of this little accumulation. This would be a little accumulation. And then I've been talking about how this could be a tap 1. All of this range could be a tap 2. You could break out to the mid 70s and then come back for a tap 3 and see that bigger accumulation take place. So yes, I've been talking about the bottom potentially being in on Bitcoin as far as price goes, because we have so many macro support levels here, guys. I'm not just saying that because I want it to be in. We have the bearish pitchfork. It's the bottom of our bearish pitchfork. We're coming in, we're hitting the bottom of it. Okay. It is also our bullish macro pitchfork. Where's it at? The midline. And look at how nice. Let me just hide this bearish pitchfork real quick. You know, reject the top, distribution at the top, bounce from the upper band, reject from the VWAP. You know, we're finally hitting the midline, like, right? So we have two major pitchforks here. But then if we go to Binance chart and look at our multi-cycle pitchfork, which has been highly, highly respected this entire bull market, we're at the bottom, guys, with bull divs on the weekly. Weekly bull divs, daily bull divs. I'm telling you, this could be the bottom. We need to break above 67K. Let's see. Binance has now shifted its POC down. This is very interesting, guys. Binance has shifted its POC down to 64,000 pretty much. Because you can see even a couple days ago, it was at, or a couple weeks ago, it was at 67,450. Now it's below us. We've shifted it down. Let me see if Coinbase did. That is going to be highly interesting. Wow. Okay. I know that this is a bit messy to look at. We are above, guys. This is wild. So if we break out of this channel from the past 2 weeks and we close specifically, it would be best to close a weekly candle, but even this daily candle above the point of control, we could see, maybe I should get out of this short position. 63,910. So around 63.9, guys. If we close above 63.9, we could see some explosive movements to the upside. Now, I'm not saying it has to happen right away, right? Because sorry, I got distracted. It might not happen right away, but higher time frames, we had weekly bull divs, daily bull divs. And this looks corrective, kind of, unless we're going to see a gigantic dump with some 1-2s in here, which is why I'm attempting shorts, is because we might, and I want to hedge against myself. Remember, I'm still in a long from 58.2, or my original position was from 58.2. Man, this is interesting, guys. I don't know if this short trade is going to play out. I'm going to stick in with it, but even this, okay, look at, we just entered a short, right? If I pull my golden pocket from that last 15-minute low that was just made to the high that was just SFP'd, our very, very, very local golden pocket, if we start to bounce from this local golden pocket at like 63,120-ish, I'm probably going to pull out 25% just because it looks like it might want to just explode here. Now, yes, Kodak, I understand, trust the cycle, do not deviate. Cycle is unbroken. Yes, you're right. And I've been saying, I don't think we're going to go up anytime. Like, we're not going to pump to, 80s plus anytime soon. All I'm saying is that time-wise or price-wise, the low could be in. Time-wise, we might need to form a bit of an accumulation to tap 1, tap 2, tap 3 in here. And that's going to give you your smaller accumulation, a tap 2 within a bigger accumulation here. Tap 1 at 60K. All of that's a tap 2. Say you get a move up to the mid 70s, high 70s, and then you get another tap 3 right? And this is your larger accumulation. And by the time you're hitting that third tap, look at October, November in here. So the mid 50s kind of has to hold. A high to mid 50s has to hold, or you could see a drop to the high 30s, low 40s, or even the low 30s. Any future concern about quantum computers hacking Bitcoin? I mean, I have definitely concerns about quantum computing. If quantum computing is going to be as transformational as we all think, then Bitcoin might not even, I mean, money, you know, like I said this the other day to you guys on the live stream on Friday. I saw this Elon Musk interview where he was talking about by 2035, money would be obsolete because AI, the AI boom and quantum computing and everything, it might give us the supply versus demand of just products and services might just, you know, the supply might far outweigh the demand, and we could see deflation he was talking about. So, and I really do think if AI's claiming what they claim it's going to be, and gosh, in 5 years it's evolved very, very rapidly. But as far as Bitcoin goes, who knows? You know, I don't like to speculate on that. All I know is that you should diversify your money. If all your money is in BTC, that's not okay in my opinion, as far as my personal investment strategy goes. And then have stop losses, right? Or sell markers on your BTC positions or whatever. AMD torched after hours down 10% with strong earnings. Wow. Okay. If it had strong earnings and it's still down, then it might be a good play to, you know, scoop some up. September's the worst month of the year. Well, we still got a whole month. Kodak, we still got a whole month, but yes, I agree. We could watch for a pullback in September for sure. What we could see in October is a pull up to the mid 70s or low 70s, and then a drop throughout all of September to come back down. And that would make perfect sense as far as that larger accumulation range, right? On the daily time frame, the larger accumulation range that could be forming. Tap one in here, we get that pull up to, you know, 74 or even 77. And then you see that move down for September. You see a move down here. And then October, November, December, last, you know, quarter of the year, you see the big move, right? Because this does look like it could be accumulation forming in here. Now, it might be a Model 1 accumulation. That where you make a higher low is a Model 2, right? Tap 1, tap 2, tap 3. But a Wyckoff Model 1 accumulation is more of like that descending channel in here where you could reject from the 74K area and then come down and make another low. And then that's your Model 1 accumulation. I just don't want to see, guys, the thing is with the pitchforks. Pitchforks obviously work on high time frames, right? We have these super high time frame pitchforks that have given us very, very good signals throughout all of 2025. And we're coming down to macro support here. We're also coming down to, hold on, I'm just going to hide these here. We have multiple high time frame pitchforks down here. We have our volume weighted trend resist support, right? Your trend based support for the entire bull market is here. We had a naked monthly point of control here. So if you lose the high 50s, I mean, there is not a lot except for some liquidity, 49K liquidity, 53K or whatever. If you lose that, I mean, you could see a big drop down into the 40s or the high 30s, low 40s, high 30s. Shoot, guys, I just saw the time. I do have a meeting in just a little bit, and I've got to get some paperwork done. So let me see. Did we not get to any altcoins? I know that I didn't get to as many altcoins. I can check Palantir. CPTR. Oops. Palantir. All right. Oh, wow. Yeah, Palantir's pumping. Nice little gap today here. Opening. What I would be paying attention to on Palantir is you have a little bit of a sideways range coming in here. You're breaking out of the value area high of the range, and you're coming up. If you have a double top up here, so if you don't SFP this double top, you're likely to break up. Actually, that was an SFP there. So now you have an SFP of the SFP. You have to be careful because you close below that high, but as long as you maintain above the value area high, you could even see a pullback to backtest this and then a breakout of this sideways range in here. So it's very bullish the way it closed above the value area high. Now, because you're getting this SFP, yes, you could see a pullback before continuation. If this is an impulse, you want to see a 1, 2, and you want this to keep going tomorrow. Actually, we can pull our targets for that third wave, and we can look at the ABC targets. So if this is going to be an impulse in an A wave, a corrective move in a B wave, and then your C wave, look at where you ended your C wave today, or your potential C wave, right at your 1.236, right into liquidity. So this could be an A, B, C, roll over and make another new low. If it's an impulse, then you tomorrow on open, you want to see this thing continue. You want to break through this high. You want to come up to around 181.5. And then what we can also look at is another volume profile of kind of this whole upper range in here. Yeah, I mean, I would be looking for a move up towards that high. That 181.5. Let's pull our golden pocket. Ooh, interesting, guys. So you do have some pretty key resistance right now where we're at. If it's a correction, an ABC correction, you're at your golden pocket, you're at your liquidity, and you're at your ABC target. I definitely would not be longing this right now. Definitely not be longing this right now. Now, tomorrow's move is going to tell us everything. If this continues up, your next kind of resistance zone is right in here. And depending on what happens there, well, either way, you probably could look for some sort of short from here, but I would be looking for a short in a wave 4. So I'd be looking for a short to kind of back test those prior highs, those prior range highs. And then you'd be looking at a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You could also pull your Fibonacci. Once this wave 3 starts to pull back, you could pull a Fibonacci from the low to wherever that high is, and you can look at your wave 4 targets, and you can look at a pullback between the 382 and the 0.5. Actually, that 0.5 would be nice as well, because if you see a 1, 2, 3, and then you pull back to back test the value area high, that's in your zone, right? Because when you pull back after hitting like a 1.618, you'll either pull back to test the range highs, or you'll pull back to test the value area high. And then it keeps going. Guys, please do hit the like button today if you got any sort of insight into the market. Time Attack, thank you so much for the comment, man. Excellent stream. We got live trading, TA. What else could you ask for? Let's see how our Bitcoin short position is doing real quick. I might get stopped out on this. I might lose a second trade today, guys. But remember, I am going to take some profit at this golden pocket. If we start to bounce from this golden pocket, I will compound this, guys. We have time to compound this. If this is going to be the big rejection where we're going to drop to 61K, we have time to compound this once we lose the POC. Okay, so we got into the short. Already right now, it's a winning trade, right? Because our risk tolerance was so tight on that short. Let's see, even from where we're at right now, we're up 3-to-1. You could take profit on it right now. It would be a winning trade. 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio. Now, when we get to our local golden pocket, it's a 4.5-to-1 risk to reward ratio. Because we already would satisfy our kind of risk tolerance, you could take some profit here and move your stop loss to break even, right? Just to lock it in. Now, the second, because if I take profit here, I'm not going to take as much profit at the VWAP. But if we start coming down to that point of control at around, I think it was 63.9. If we start coming down to your local 2-month long range point of control at 63.9, and you start to bounce, I would take a little bit more because it's also the backtest of the channel. It's kind of the backtest of your VWAP area. And that's still a good trade. Now, if we lose the point of control on the bearish backtest of the point of control, we can re-add to that, compound that short position, and continue taking it down. So we'll have time to get into this, guys, and I'll try to keep you guys updated throughout the stream or throughout the day in the Telegram. Remember to join the Telegram. Just join BYDFI, deposit minimum deposit of $100 or more. Then you click the Telegram link and you type in /verify in your user ID for BYDFI. Another thing I would be watching for you scalp traders out there right now. Another thing I'd be watching for is this range, right? We clearly have a range right in here on the 15-minute time frame. So you can pull the volume profile of that local range because we want to watch the backtest of the value area high of that range, which is our golden pocket. Okay, guys, I'm for sure now taking some profit at this golden pocket if we come down here. I will take at least 25% at 64,100. 64,120-ish, let's say. If we come down here, just to lock it in, just to make sure it's good, because I lost today. Now, if I didn't lose a trade today, I would not be taking any profit here. So it's up to you guys how you want to play this. We were playing this as a scalp, but this could turn into a much better short trade down to $61,000. So just be aware of that. I mean, this could really roll over here, guys. It's a key decision point. I will be streaming on Thursday and Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tomorrow, I'll make a video letting you guys know what's happening, but pay attention in the Telegram in the meantime, and we'll figure this out. You know, this could turn into a really nice short that we got into because our stop loss was so freaking tight here. We could get into a giant win if this comes down to 61K. So thank you guys. Much love to you. Hit the like button.